Hey everyone, it's Shelby here. Welcome back to A Little Literary Love. I'm glad you are with me today. And also, happy Halloween. Super excited. If you can't tell, I am wearing little cat ears. This is not actually my costume. This was my daughter's costume that I decided to borrow for filming today because I thought, why not? It's just kind of dress up for the occasion. I did also post a little like black cat post on my Instagram page earlier this week that you should definitely check out. But yeah, so today's video, nothing really, is a dark romance recommendation video. I have done one of these before, and then some of my other like tropes that I like to do for like recommendations videos are in most of the time in like the dark romance subgenre. But today I just have some other like random romance recommendations for you that cover the dark romance realm. Thought this was pretty fitting for Halloween, although not many of these are necessarily like spooky per se, but I feel like they all encompass dark romance and I'm here for it. I love all of these and you should check all of these out. But before we get into those recs, I do just want to do like a quick little snippet of, if you are liking my content, you want to keep watching my videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it as like a little very small YouTuber here. Definitely hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Go down. I always leave links to all the books that I talk about down below in the description. I also leave links to my social media, so like my Instagram, my Goodreads, if you want to check me out on all of those different platforms. Definitely do that down below. Otherwise, we're gonna get right into it. So I'm really hoping I remember what happens in all of these books because I feel like I love them enough that I could pretty well remember everything that happens, but I didn't write down like any notes for myself like I usually do because I was like, I know these pretty well. I can wing it. So here we go. We're going to do this. So first up that I have, which if you haven't read this book already, I don't know why you haven't, because everybody has read this book. That's going to be Butcher and Blackbird by Bren Weaver. I read this at the very beginning of this year and loved it. This is it's a dark rom-com of two serial killers, and they meet and they are big fans of each other's work, and they decide to do this like fun game together where they are given a like clues to this like a target, and they have to try to beat each other. Like every year they do this game, they have to try to beat each other to find who this mark is supposed to be and kill this person first before the other one can do it. And it's so fun. It is completely unhinged. I'm going to be saying that a lot. Unhinged in the best way. And it was so good. The banter between these two characters is phenomenal. And then, slowly over time, their infatuation and their admiration for each other becomes a romance. So it's so fun. I definitely recommend reading this one on audiobook because it is a duet audiobook, and it's just absolutely fabulous. I loved this one. I didn't like the second one as much, but this first one just hit it out of the park. It was astounding. It deserves all the hype that it gets. Then I have the Frozen Fate series by Pam Godwin. It starts with a heart. No, that's the last one. Oh my goodness. See, I should have written notes down for myself. well, I'll have the picture up of what the first book is called. So this is a trilogy by Pam Godwin. If you have not read any kind of Pam Godwin before, know that all of her books are dark romance. Some of her books are some of the darkest romance that I have ever read. This one is very dark. So this one takes place in Alaska. This is about our female main character. She, on the very first chapter, she gets kidnapped from her home. Like, she is just in her bedroom and she turns around and there's this man standing there, and he takes her out of her home and transports her somewhere north. She doesn't even know if she's still in Alaska or if she is in just the Antarctic, somewhere very far north, harsh conditions. She's transported there, and they arrive, and there's this cabin, and then there are these three men that come out, and she is left trying to figure out what they want from her, how she's going to survive not only the wilderness and like the tundra and just how harsh the environment is, but then also the different mind games that are going on between her, the one captor that took her, and then the other three men that are also there, and trying to figure out who can she form alliances with, if she can, who can she trust, how is she going to get out of this situation. And this one, so this is more, it's a dark romance, but it's also more of like a romantic suspense story. All three of these books in this series are very thick, but honestly, I read them all so quickly. There are so many things that happen in this series that I could not put it down. It was just one thing after another of like thrilling things that happen. Are they going to be able to get out of this? This does end up becoming a white shoes romance, polyamory, whatever. And it becomes that like band of brothers, like found family kind of story, because they're trying to survive, that captor captive type scenario, because, you know, she was captured by these men, but yet she's starting to fall for some of them. And it's just, it was amazing. I honestly think this is probably some of Pam Godwin's best writing that she has done, and I cannot wait for more from her. It was so good, and I highly recommend everybody check this out, unless you are not a dark romance reader. But also, if you're not a dark romance reader, like, why are you watching this video? Okay, so then I have Toxic by Nicole Blanchard. This one is a prison romance. And if you ever watch the show Prison Break, it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. So this one, our female main character, she is a nurse that works at this prison. She is married to some guy that runs the prison. I don't know what their name is. A warden, maybe? I don't know, something along those lines. She's married to a warden. He is abusive towards her, so she is not in a loving marriage relationship with her husband. Anyway, she's a nurse, and they bring this new inmate in. He is all battered, and she starts to get close to him while she is taking care of him. He is her patient, and he notices some of like the bruises on her skin, and he starts asking questions, and then he starts drawing her and drawing other pictures for her and leaving them for her. And so like very slowly it becomes their romance. This one I read this more for the plot. This is another one that I just couldn't put down. I had to keep reading to find out what was going to happen in this story. There ends up being like a riot thing that happens, and he is like using her to try to escape prison, and it's a wild ride, and I think it's a great dark romance to pick up, just because like I couldn't put it down, but like the plot was so good. It was amazing. Then I have one of several mafia romance on here because I love reading mafia romance, and it is dark romance. So this one is When She Unravels by Gabrielle Sands. This is the first book of a series from her. This one is about, so they are our female main character is married at the start of this one, and they're both in the mafia. She was like, she's a daughter of some mafia person, and so she's in this like arranged marriage to this guy. She's already married, but then finds out that her husband is awful, and he makes her take part in some of his like torturing of people. So he brings this girl in, like this young girl that's either her age or younger than her, to torture, and she just can't take it anymore. And so she decides to let this prisoner go, and in doing so, she knows that she will be hurt and potentially killed by her husband. So she also decides to escape. And the two of them, even though the girl that got let go doesn't know that she is following her, they end up going to Ibiza in Spain, and she's just trying to figure out how to survive now that she doesn't have any means, any money, and she's just wanting to try to stay away from any kind of mafia person that could lead her back to her husband. So she ends up taking a job at this club, and the owner of this club takes a really big interest in her. And then you find out that he might have some other ties to the mafia that she was not aware of. And this was just, it was so good. The chemistry between these two characters, again, the plot was amazing. I eat up mafia romance. It's like my bread and butter. I love it so much. And this one was so well done, and I highly recommend it. And I do plan on continuing reading this series. I have not yet, but I want to, because this first one just pulled me in so well, and I just need to know more about this whole world. Then we have Butterfly by Jo Brenner. This is like a dark college romance. It's labeled as a bully romance, although I don't know that I would necessarily categorize it as a bully romance. So this is a step sibling romance. This is our two characters of this story. Their parents get married at like in the spring, beginning of summer. The two characters are about to go off to college at the end of the summer. He sees her and immediately wants her, like very attracted to her. And then after he sees her, he finds out from his dad that is his new stepsister. So that pisses him off that she is now off limits to him. So he takes out his anger and frustrations on her, because we're obviously very mature adults about this situation. He takes out his frustrations on her by playing all these different like pranks on her. So that's kind of where the bully part comes in, but it's a very short snippet. That just takes place during the summer, which is like the very, very beginning of this book. But then one of his friends takes a prank on her way too far, and he loses his shit about it, and he realizes, he's like, no, I am the only one that gets to do things to her, and he didn't like how that made her feel, what happened. And so he's decided that he's just like, screw the consequences, I don't give a shit anymore, I want her and I'm gonna make her mine, and I don't care what I have to do to make that happen. So they go off to college. She still doesn't like him, but now he kind of flipped a switch and he kind of stalks her. He places cameras in her room so that he can watch her, and very, very unhinged behavior, obviously, and so thus a dark romance. But I loved this story. I loved his over the top possessive type nature, and how he was just obsessed with her, and nobody else was going to treat her wrong. So it kind of had that like touch her and die vibes, even though like I don't think he would necessarily like kill somebody, but he would make them regret anything that they would do to her. And it was so good. It was so good. I ate it up. I could not stop reading this. And it was one of those stories like, I feel like I should not like this character. I really should not. And in reality, like if I met this kind of person in real life, I'd be like, heck no, stay away from me. But in this book, it worked so well. So definitely recommend that. Then we have Rhapsody by Kenya Wright. This is another mafia romance series or story. This is a duet, and features an interracial relationship. Our female main character, she is a violinist, and she is needing like some money. I think she just got let go from her job, so her aunt runs this little it's kind of like a bar, kind of reminds me of like a little like speakeasy bar. So her aunt asked her to play at this place and make some money that way. And she ends up capturing the eye of this man who is known as the Butcher. He is part of the mafia in France, in Paris. And then you find out when we finally get to his perspective that he has actually been orchestrating some things. He has been infatuated with her for years. And he has been trying to put things in place so that he can have her, because this whole book in this series is one of the most sensual books that I have read, just because, and I don't know if it's just because he is from Paris. You get a little bit, I listened to this on audiobook too, so you get a little bit of like an accent with the narrator when he's talking for this character. And he like loves music and beautiful things, and he thinks our female main character is the most gorgeous person he has ever seen in his life, and he is going to go above and beyond, stop the world basically, so that he can be with her, and will do anything for her. So this first book honestly was a good more like build up of like their relationship. The second book is where I feel like more of like the dark parts of this come in. We get a little bit more with like the mafia, like she gets involved with the mafia. So I feel like the second book of this duet is a lot darker than this first one, but I really, really enjoyed this first one. Just like I said, like how he would go to the end of the earth for her, and he just is so in love with her, and it was just it was so good. Then my last mafia romance that I have on this recommendation video is going to be Sinful Vows by Lillian Harris. This is another start of a series that I have not continued on because I'm terrible with series. But this is our female main character has been trafficked. Her and her friends got taken when they were on vacation. So she's been in this like sex traffic house, whatever, for years now. And so our male main character of the story, he pulls up to this house, has business with the people there, and she decides that she is going to take this opportunity to try and escape. So she does, and she climbs into his car, and they end up going back to his place. And so she is like trying to sneak around his house to get out so that she can go to the police and be rescued. But she gets caught by him, and he decides that he is going to use this as an opportunity. He is not the highest ranking into his like mafia family world. In order to take the full control of his family, whatever mafia, he has to get married, but he has seen in the past what love has done to people. Like, he views love as a weakness, so he doesn't actually want to marry somebody that he's in love with. So he finds this girl in his home, and he decides that he's going to use this as his opportunity to get married. He makes a deal with her that if she gets married, in a year after their marriage, he will take her wherever she wants to go, and he will help her escape. But if she doesn't marry him, he's just going to take her right back to her captors. I love this one. This also features single dad because our mafia guy is a single dad. And he is just absolutely amazing with his daughter and is so doting towards her and spoils her. But then he's also become so attentive towards our female main character. Definitely that whole like consent thing. I loved it. I love seeing that in a mafia man because he's just this like dark, broody, criminal, bad guy. But then when that flips towards like somebody that he cares about, or this like woman that has been abused and has been through such traumatic things, he's consent, and it's beautiful, and I love it, and I eat this up. Then we have a Dance Macabre by Naomi Loud. This is another first of a series, but this one, the rest of the series has not come out yet. This is a very dark world. This one, there's like these ruling families in this town, and every so many years, the gods decide who is going to be like the number one, like top person ruling. And so our female main character and our male main character, they hate each other. Their families do not get along, and they are vying and wanting to become the rulers of the town. So the gods choose him to be ruler. She does not like this. And in order to become the ruler, they have to make a sacrifice and they have to kill somebody. So she ends up stealing his kill. And the gods are very displeased by this, but they're also kind of like intrigued by her like cunning and her willingness to try to take what she wants. And so they decide that the two of them are going to be co-rulers. And of course, both of them, because they despise each other, and both of them are characters that are like very self-centered. And they don't give a shit about anybody else. They will kill whoever they need to get what they want, which is to rule. And so the fact that they are being forced by the gods to co-rule is not something that they can really take. However, they also have the hots for each other, which again pisses them both off because they hate each other. And now they're being forced to live in the ruler's home together and make decisions together, and it forces them to be in proximity. It's a forced proximity kind of romance, and slowly they realize that they admire one another and they actually want to be together. This gave me very mild Gomez and Morticia Addams vibes. Like, it's a slow start at the beginning of the story, but then once you get into it, like their sensuality together, their lust for one another, it reminded me so much of Gomez and Morticia Addams, because both of these characters are also like very morally black. Like, neither one of these characters are good people, and I loved it. It was so good. I ate this up, and I can't wait to read more from the series whenever there are more books out. And then another book that is also has become very hyped, Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. So this is another dark romance. This is our female main character is a night nurse, and she has had a traumatic past. She sees a lot of trauma because she is an ER night nurse that works in some really big city. I can't remember where. And one of her things that she likes to do to just kind of like unwind and cope with all of the things going on in her life is she likes to watch TikTok videos. And specifically, she likes to watch those like thirst trap TikTok videos of like the masked men. And she has this one person that is her favorite that she likes to watch all the time. And she comments on all of his videos. And she's just like very into this guy. Well, the guy that makes these videos finds out who she is because he is the roommate of this guy that she will sometimes have like on and off again, kind of like flings with, sort of like friends with benefits that she has with this guy. Well, he is her roommate, and I don't remember if it's his roommate or she kind of makes it like let slip that she likes those videos and that she really liked his videos, even though she does not know that it's him. And this intrigues him very greatly. And he decides that he's going to make her like some of the statements that she says to him, and he's going to make her fantasy a reality. So he does some like stalking, and he breaks into her house. Definitely, again, unhinged, obviously. And then they have a lot of sexy times together. So this one was so good. I love these two characters, especially our male main character. He is, because this is a dark romance, but he's honestly a puppy. Like, he's a puppy kind of character. And that's really different to see with a stalker. Like, it was so great. And there's definitely like lots of talks about kink in here and consent. And they both have like traumatic pasts that they bond over. And it's so sweet. This does have some gore in it. It is definitely a dark romance, but I loved it. And this is another one that I definitely recommend you listen to on audiobook, because it is another duet narration. And it was just, I gobbled it up. I loved it. Highly recommend it. Then we have Dead of Summer by AJ Merlin. So this is a summer camp romance, and it's definitely a nod to those old like summer camp slasher like horror films. That's definitely what this author was going for with this one. So we have our main character, Summer. She is a camp counselor. This is her last year that she is going to be doing this camp over the summer. And then we also have this new camp counselor that's around. Everybody thinks he's super hot. He's very cute. And she's just kind of trying to get through the summer. So the first night of camp, she is doing her like walk around to kind of like check on to see if anybody's out of their beds and just make sure everything's okay. And she ends up running into this new camp counselor, and he has an axe with him. And he lets slip that he is a serial killer, and he is planning on murdering everybody in this camp. And so she's like, don't do this. What can I do to stop you? And she says that she'll do anything. So he decides, he's like, well, if that's the case, then you're going to be like just my little pet for the rest of camp. And you're going to do whatever I want, whatever I say, because if you don't, then I'm going to kill everybody. And then, of course, this turns into their romance somehow. This one is also very kinky. Very steamy, lots of sex in this one, and I really enjoyed this one. I couldn't get over like their chemistry together. And then I love that like juxtaposition of like he's a bad guy, but she's got the hots for him. And then she's starting to really like him because then he also is starting to have feelings for her and is obsessed with her and will like touch her and die vibes. Like he will kill anybody that messes with her because she is his, nobody else's. He gets to do whatever he wants with her. Nobody else gets to touch her though. So it was very good. AJ Merlin has a lot of dark romance that I plan on continuing to read because I love her writing and I love her stories. Then the last one that I have for this recommendation video that is on this list is the Souls Trilogy by Harley LaRue. I have not actually read the last book of this trilogy, but the first book, which is Her Soul to Take, this one is about our female main character. She just loves the paranormal and she likes finding ghosts. And our male main character, he is a demon. So that where they're at in this town, there is this cult that is in this town that has gotten like the leaders, they have gotten these like magical powers from this demon that they have like they worship or whatever. But in order to keep those powers, they have to sacrifice people to this demon. And Leon, our male main character of this first story, he is a demon that has become like the possession of one of the leaders of this cult. And this cult leader wants him to kill our female main character of this story. But our male main character, demon guy, is ticked off and really doesn't want to be chained to this man anymore. And he is very attracted to this girl that he is supposed to kill. So he's like, well, I'm just gonna like have some sexy times with her first. And then he's like, well, I want to keep her now. So I need to figure out a way that we can get out of this like arrangement with the guy that he's basically like chained to, that owns him. And this is just so good. Like I ate this up. I've said this about all these books. I'm sorry, but that's just the thing. I love them. And then like the second book of the series is like a girl that was supposed to be sacrificed to this demon and she ends up escaping, and then she makes a deal with this demon to sell her soul to him because he's going to help her get revenge on the people that tried to kill her. And so all three of these books, they take place around the same time. Like the storylines, they all kind of overlap, but you're just getting the perspectives of different couples throughout like what all is going on with this. So it's about them trying to finish off this cult and kill the people of this cult because they're not good people. And this one is just like all of the characters are bisexual. And what else? Oh, it's also very kink friendly. There's lots of smutty times in these books. And it's just, honestly, it's just a really good time. I quite enjoyed myself reading the first two, and I cannot wait to get to the last book of this series because I've been dying for it. It's a witch and demon romance, and I'm so here for it. I cannot wait. But there we go. There is my rather long recommendation video of some dark romances that I think you should check out. I loved all of these, and I hope you do too when you check them out. But that is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment down below with some of your favorite dark romances because I am always on the hunt for more dark romance. I love it. And yeah, that's going to be it. I will see you all in the next one. And please make sure to have a very happy and safe Halloween. Bye, guys.